Good evening, everyone. Welcome to another episode of So What's Been Happening. This one, episode 193 on a Tuesday, the 11th of November. This one, an exciting one, getting to chat to Maxine Gillon about a new album, which is always exciting to chat about, new music and new releases, especially big debut releases, which is really nice, or debut albums. All right, just to touch on a couple of gigs before we get going. Tonight, we've got a couple of gigs coming up this week, including one for Maxine, but we'll touch on Al Matcott first at Stay Gold, album launch for Fake the Days Away. We had a chat to Al only a week or so ago. Also, Friday the 14th, we've got the Gnomes releasing their new album, also at Brunswick. This one's at Brunswick Ballroom. Mustn't forget this one, which is all of what tonight's about. Maxine Gillon and the Blue Jeans releasing Girl Songs at the Tramway. Special guest, Mystery Shopper. Great name. So get along to that one. And the 15th as well, I'll give you one for the Saturday night. Screensaver releasing a new album. Third album for them, which is at the Tote. So that will be a cracker to get along to as well, with Tongue Dissolver, Lothario, and Armour on that bill as well. And then change tact a little bit into the country scene for this one with Outdoor Legends, put together by Duncan Phillips, with a bit of an all-star lineup at Brunswick Ballroom. So that'll make 2 days you can get along to Brunswick Ballroom. And there's always plenty on out there. It's a busy week. AC/DC in town just hit the ground. And ready to go at the MCG for probably a wet Wednesday and a wet Sunday. So it should be very interesting. And congratulations to Melbourne band, the Casanovas, who are going to open for AC/DC, which is a really exciting time for those guys, and also Amel and the Sniffers. So Melbourne music is alive and well. All right, here we go. Let's bring up Maxine for a chat and let's get into it. Welcome, Maxine. Most importantly, on a Tuesday night, welcome to episode 193. Also, what's been happening?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, nice to be here.
Yeah, it's great to connect. Always great to talk new music. A really exciting time to release music. Well, the question is it in today's world? It's a little tough out there in the music scene to get some cut through, but you're definitely able to do that with Girl Songs.
Yeah. I mean, it's such a whirlwind of highs and lows and everything in between when releasing music, but it feels good right now. Great
to hear. And fast forward to Friday night at the Tramway, an exciting one. Free gig. Never can knock back a free gig in Melbourne town.
True.
Great to get to a great little venue too, Tramway. Tell us a bit about what can we expect?
I have a couple of little surprises or like new things happening for the show. But yeah, I've always loved the Tramway, and I've probably played there quite a lot in terms of venues I've played multiple times. They're probably definitely up there. So my live band, the Blue Jeans, will be playing with me. There is a song on my album called Dr. Glass, which was written on piano or keyboards. And so I've sort of relearnt that song, and we're sort of bringing a keyboard and playing that live for the first time for the show, which will be exciting. But yeah, we had a rehearsal last night. It's sounding really good. Keen to give it a whirl.
Can't knock back a rehearsal on a Monday night. It's a good way to start the week, getting everyone together and jamming it out.
It's a bit hit or miss, like after work, if you're going to be like in the mood and have the energy. But last night was really good.
Good to
hear. The rehearsal before, like everything that could possibly go wrong went wrong. But last night was great.
Okay, awesome to hear. All right, we're going to kick it off playing a bit of the track The Last Time. This is a great clip. Here we go.
autumn.
There we go. The last time I couldn't cut it off, Maxine. I had to play the whole thing.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it for a while. It was nice to see it again.
Yeah, it's interesting. I talk to a lot of artists, and they don't get a chance to look back on a clip, especially some of not even the newer ones, but some of the older ones as well. And they sit back and realize kind of what they did put together at the time. Tell us a bit about putting that clip together, and why clips are kind of still an important part of music for you visually.
Yeah, and that clip was made in such like a whirlwind, because it was like there was a whole different sort of idea as to how it was going to look. It was made, so it was like filmed. All of it was filmed in like a white warehouse, and it was just it was meant to be like white and sort of quite overexposed. And there was a visual effects person who was going to work on it, but they had an emergency, so couldn't do it. So I sort of rethought everything, and I went to film school when I was sort of 19. So I sort of know my way around editing, and then I sort of had this other idea of sort of like this explosion of flowers and nature, and yeah, so I just spent sort of like 2 or 3 weeks like cutting out all the individual frames of everyone, and then just overexposing all of this flowers and nature. It's sort of mostly like 60s stock footage of flowers for like nature documentaries and stuff that I've sort of repurposed.
Yeah, it's really cool. And give you back an appreciation of how complex putting together these clips kind of are.
Yeah.
You had to turn your own head back to it.
I feel like, I don't know if it's a good or a bad thing about being an artist, but it's very much like you're always sort of striving to be better, or striving to go to the next thing, or to get better, I don't know, write a better song, play a better show, whatever. So it's really like so much of the impetus of being an artist is like going forward and never looking back. And people are always telling me that I need to like take stock of what I've done, but I find it really hard to do because I'm always sort of striving for more. But I've had a couple of moments recently with the album and everything of forcing myself to take stock of that I did this thing, which is pretty cool.
Yeah, very good, very good. And a couple of lines in it: have a ball despite it all. Don't spend time worrying. We're definitely overthinkers and procrastinators to some degree. Yeah. Why should we take heed of that? As far as don't spend time worrying, what is it for you now?
I don't know. I mean, I think I was very like moody and sort of miserable as a teen and 20-year-old in my 20s, which I think most people are. But I also have like clinical depression and anxiety and stuff. So that was definitely part of it. But I'd always been like a very nihilistic person, very cynical and everything. But I think, I'm 32, so I'm definitely not like, a seasoned sort of wisdom person or something. But definitely the more I've gotten older, the more I've sort of seen the value in, trying to enjoy life and eke out any joy you can, and to be grateful to be alive. And, people I've known have died, and it's very easy to be woken up in this day and age every now and then of to how fragile life is and how fragile happiness is. Yep,
absolutely. We definitely need to live for today and for tomorrow. We do get stuck, I probably think, overthinking the past maybe, and hoping that things were going to change, but thinking forward is always the one. And this one, Back in Town, this is definitely Maxine Gillon, Back in Town. Here we go. we're going to cut that one short, not well on purpose, because we want to leave people hanging a little bit to go out and investigate and hear more of this album. So we thought we'd get through a couple more tracks in amongst this chat. So Maxine, talk to us about that one, being back in town. What does it mean to you now?
Yeah, so that song, that's my favorite song on the album, and
Great way to
I think
kick
it
it off.
might be the oldest song on, maybe second oldest song on the album, but it took a long time to get right. Like there's a sort of middle section that sort of goes into a different place and then it comes back, but it took a long time to get right. But yeah, I mean, I guess it's pretty shallow. Like it's just like I mean the album, I mean it's deceptively shallow. Maybe that's maybe the whole album. It's like
Sure.
girl songs, they're all just like about crushes or like desire. So this song is literally just about a crush I had on a girl who was sort of we'd sort of like, I don't know, not really, we were like in the same social scene but didn't really, it was like flirty but we didn't do anything, and then she was sort of on holiday in Europe indefinitely. She ended up like moving there and never coming back. But like when she left, it was like obviously like the great time to get like a crush on her. So it just started as like that, like fantasizing about the potential that would happen if she was back in Melbourne. But obviously nothing would have happened anyway. It's just like a springboard to explore desire or insecurity and vulnerability. I think there's a lot of that in that song, more maybe deceptively behind all the bravado and euphemisms.
Yeah, I think if we break it all down and break down who we are and the facade of who we are, we're all pretty vulnerable underneath, aren't we? And that's
people are always saying that. Like I never really think about it when I'm doing it, but when I like present, it happened with the last EP I did as well. When I like present a body of work, people always say that it's about like the difference between reality and fantasy. People always say my work is about that, which is interesting and probably true. But yeah.
Yep. All right. This one I want to play Venus of Brunswick East. I think it was beautifully captured at Avery Studios. Tell us a little bit about that room and the magic that is at Avery Studios. It's a beautiful place and records.
So it was actually like there's a live version that was captured at Avery Studios, like an acoustic live version that I
correct.
did.
So that this is the stripped back version of the acoustic. I thought we'd just play that to just give people just a little feel for
sure.
You know how music can appear differently. Just tell us a bit about recording that one.
Yeah, so the recorded version is very like layered. Like there's lots of sort of guitar layers and it's very like lush. But I definitely really like the intimacy, because obviously everything I write is just on a guitar and voice. So I really like the intimacy of just like a guitar and voice for this song. So I wanted to sort of capture it in that way as well. And to just sort of have like a nice visual for the song. Yeah. And it's sort of the more stripped back, the more people will take notice of the lyrics, I think. So I think if you're sort of more like a wordy, more sort of lyricist mind singer-songwriter, it's always good to make acoustic versions available as well.
Absolutely. Strip back the fuzz a little and get the beauty for what it is between a voice and a presence and a guitar. There's something incredibly magical about it. So here we go with Voice of Brunswick East, thanks to Avery Studios.
Plan, survey, and
rue the day I stayed away from Sean Janae. We move and sway beyond passé. Foreplay the valet along the highway. My baby drives an SUV. She rides around me. She's Venus of Brunswick East in the front seat. We betrayed of us array of roles to play and words to say. Don't delay or downplay when you're set in your ways. Turn at the interstate. My baby drives an SUV. She rides around me. She's Venus of Brunswick East in the front seat. Take a ride on the passenger side, to die by your side on the passenger side. Green eyes, my baby drives, my baby drives me away from yesterday's general malaise. A needle in the hay, the windows down and a cool breeze rolls around me.
Yeah, I love that version. There's just something magic about it. A stripped back guitar and a voice in a quiet room, beautifully filmed like that. It's that's why we listen to music. As a punter and a non-musician like myself, that's the magic right there.
Yeah. So that was filmed and recorded by Fraser Montgomery, who owns Avery Studios. Really nice guy. The acoustic guitar sounds really nice in that version. Thanks to him. I don't know what microphone he was using. We just sort of maybe did 2 or 3 takes. There was like a smoke machine in the room. That's why it looks like a bit dreamy.
Hard to beat dreamy, especially in those songs. So obviously the album version's a little different, as you mentioned, layered up. Talk to me about your songwriting process and how you go about piecing together some of this magic. You said you play obviously guitar and sing, but getting together all these other layers, including keyboards and everything else. Talk to me about the recording process.
So this album is pretty much all me. There's like a friend of mine who mixed a couple of the songs, played bass on a couple of the songs as well, but otherwise, other from that, it's all me. So it's very much like I'll write a song on just like an acoustic guitar and sing, and then I'll I usually I find it hard to like see something as like a finished song if I don't like put it down and start adding arrangements over the top of it. Like that's like I guess I hear the other parts in my head, and I know exactly what I want usually to sort of occupy the space.
Do you hear that during the Do you hear that during the writing process, or do you hear that during when you start to put it together and record it?
I guess
or is it vary?
a bit of both, but probably mostly once I've sort of. So if I have like a full song that I've just written on a guitar, I will record that guitar part, and then sort of as I'm listening and thinking about it is when the arrangement parts will come mostly. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
the
So
album,
it's a matter of sort of building. I could probably, the next thing I want to do, I think I want to sort of try and be a bit more minimal, or like leave some space in the music. But I definitely am someone who likes really maximalist music, like a really lush atmosphere. Yeah, and if I hear something, I find it hard to leave it out of the track, I guess. Yeah. And I guess with this album especially, I was really inspired by the wall of sound technique that was sort of, I guess, invented in the 60s. There was sort of Phil Spector with sort of girl groups like the Ronettes and things like that, and also Pet Sounds by the Beach Boys, where sort of, I guess, the wall of sound technique, it's not really so much like a volume or like sort of something overwhelmingly volume. It's more like all of the instruments merged together. So it's sort of like you can't really tell if something's a guitar or a piano because they're sort of doubled playing the same thing, and it's just like this beautiful sound that you are sort of enveloped by. Yeah, so I was sort of trying to do that. There was sort of there's just like layers and layers and layers. Like the mixes, there was 3 mixes that worked on different songs of the album, but some of the songs had like 50 layers or something that they had to mix into a song. Yeah,
and then the magic begins to happen to try and piece it together and play it live. Talk to me about the challenge then of pulling that together, or do you just do you play it slightly different, obviously, to
I feel like it's where I'm at right now with playing live is that it's like a different entity to the music. I'm not so much trying to replicate it exactly, and I'm sort of so precious with the guitar parts that I'm sort of playing 2 or 3 guitar parts, or like sort of alternating between the parts. And yeah, I really like the people I'm playing with in the band and their sort of musical inclinations, and I sort of try as much as I can to sort of let everyone spread their wings and just make sure they're enjoying themselves and playing things with their own little twists and turns. And yeah, so it's sort of like a different entity, and like definitely right now I'm sort of enjoying. I sort of used to be quite like distorted and noisy guitar playing, but this album is really sort of lush and not much distortion, but I've sort of definitely enjoyed recently sort of bringing back a bit of like grit and sort of energy into the dynamics through like distortion and pedals and things like that. So it's definitely like a different thing right now. I feel like to create them, you would need like 5 or 6 people, and that would not happen unless I was like in a position to pay people just to like play the parts that I've written, because it's probably not very creatively interesting to people to just play, parts someone else has written.
Yeah, I don't know. To jump up there and play some dreamy tunes.
I guess also like I feel like a lot of the reason why I didn't have a backing band for so long is that I really just don't like telling people what to do. Like I just prefer people do whatever they want. Like I'm like, I need everything to be a certain way, but I also don't want to tell people what to do. So it's a weird dynamic happening in my brain. But
is that something you constantly still juggle with, that component of it, or you kind of feel like you're at ease with that now?
In a really good place with this band.
Yep.
There's definitely, like, I've had like lots of, just turning up the volume. I've had lots of, or maybe like 2 or 3 iterations of like a live band, and that's definitely something that has happened a little bit before. Like there's definitely been sort of some tension with me, with sort of between my conception of the material and other people's playing styles. But I feel like in this band it's a really good dynamic, and I don't like, if something's not right, then I definitely say so, but it's usually right. And I'm sort of relatively comfortable right now with being like the leader and telling people what to do to some extent. But
well, it's great to hear you're in a good space, especially as you push this baby out into the big world. Girl songs. Talk to me about this shot. It's a great cross kind of processed lit image. Talk to me about who shot that one.
Yeah, so that was shot by Kalindi Williams, who is a really great photographer and sort of creative in Melbourne. She also shot that picture. She is in a band called Hearts and Rockets that people might know, but she's a really great photographer. So with that whole shoot, it was sort of, the vibe was, I wanted the cover and everything to look like there's an Andy Warhol film in I guess from the 60s called Chelsea Girls, and it's like a super long film, and it actually looks like this sort of interview. It's like when they screened it, 2 rolls of film were projecting at once, so that's how it's meant to be screened. But part of it's black and white, but the other part is like crazy Technicolor, like pink and yellow, and sort of I wanted it to be sort of really grainy and sort of really, I don't know, like Velvet Underground has sort of always been my like #1 thing, and I sort of wanted to somewhat reference them, or like conjure a reference to them. And like I like that it has like the film grain, and it's sort of, and then the lettering is sort of meant to be like, sort of look like subtitles, like the yellow subtitle text. So I wanted it to sort of look quite like retro, I guess, because that was sort of more the vein of the music I was referencing, and just the aesthetic that I like. And I just wanted it to be quite like just like a person, just like me with my guitar. Like there's no big sort of concept. It's just sort of here's 8 songs. They're pretty good. You might like them. I'm just an artist. I'm just a person on a cover. It's not like a big thing. Yeah,
well, you underestimate it, because it is a big thing. Putting out music in today's world,
I feel like
but I totally get your concept. Yep.
Yeah, like I'm definitely more like an art-minded person, and I actually tried to make an album before this one that was like a sort of concept album, and sort of I felt like everything needed to be this big concept, and everything needed to have like this crazy meaning behind it. But then that sort of ran away from me a bit, and I just sort of was like, no, I'm just gonna make, like, it's my first album. I'm just gonna sort of present a couple of good songs and show that I'm really dedicated to songwriting, and I love music, and I'm going to reference all the music that I've loved throughout my life, and just present like the purest form of myself as a songwriter right now, I guess. Yeah.
Well, I think you've done it beautifully. You underestimate how good these 8 songs are. Were
Well, I
there a
know that
few that,
they're good.
yeah, a few that hit the cutting room floor, or a few in the works still for the future?
Yeah, there's definitely it felt really like mature or something this time. Like I actually fully had like a couple of songs like mixed and mastered and were gonna be on the record, but that I like paid for and everything. But I was just like, I think the record sort of works better as a body of work without those songs, and maybe they'll be used for something else. But I felt really good to just make like a concise little album and not just put songs on it because I had them, and sort of to be more considered about it. Yeah, so I think maybe there was like three or four songs that didn't make the cut for this
Okay.
album. Yeah. I have like one really good new song that we've been playing as a band that I'm thinking of doing it as like a standalone single. Yeah, otherwise I haven't really written anything else yet. I think it'd be good to just take a little bit of a break, or just to take things quite easy after this album, and just sort of formulate what the next thing is going to be.
Yeah, and I think most importantly, enjoy it for a while. Enjoy putting it out there. The pressure, you can still put a lot of pressure on yourself to roll forward and continue the momentum and get in the studio again. And one, it's not cheap, first and foremost. And let's face it, there's not a lot of money being made for locals in music at the moment. So they're playing for love. So on behalf of all the punters out there that get along to any of your shows, Maxine, thanks for doing what you do, most importantly.
Thank you.
And to have a talent that is in the arts side of things, unfortunately, doesn't bring a lot of cash at the moment. So thanks for doing what you do, and continue into the future. And I look forward to seeing you more over time.
Yeah, it's also like I feel like it's a process of sort of thinking about how the whole money thing is, and like living the life of an artist. But the way I like to think about it these days, on my good days, is that like it's a gift to be able to have people listen to your thoughts and your music. Like it's sort of my gift to people, and like their gift back is them listening to it and enjoying it. And it's like it would be great to earn a living wage, and like have more money from like merch or whatever, to be able to fund more work. But it's also like there are good things about the fact that music has sort of been demonetized, because you can sort of, it's maybe pure, you're making pure work if you're just doing it for yourself, or to communicate with people and have people listen to it. And even like one person getting something from my music, like that's amazing to me and beautiful, and that's why I do it. It doesn't really matter the size of the audience at the end of the day.
Yep. Well, I think that's a beautiful way to look at music of today. Whether we want to or whether we have to are two different things, but it's a great way to absorb it either way. So let's have a listen to Grief-Filled Avenues.
Your brisk walk, staring
Yeah, beautiful. Nice. Once again, dreamy kind of feel, nice and layered. Talk to me about that one. And
Yeah.
the
So that's a
yeah, go for
strange one because that song was on my previous EP, like a old version of it, and sort of that song was like the song of mine that sort of changed my life in a way that like.
it.
So I was in Sydney. I grew up in Sydney, and I was sort of playing guitar in a band. That was my main thing. Like I was playing lead guitar in another band, and I was sort of writing my own songs, sort of more on the side, more casually. And then when I wrote that song and sort of released that song, and how much it sort of affected people, and even just having like the song, I was like, I could see like the potential of myself as a solo artist, or like it was like my vision had come into fruition, and I was just so proud of it that and I'd been playing it around Melbourne, and it was always such a standout track for people. And when I do it live, I do like a big sort of guitar arpeggio introduction, and people seem to really like that. And I can't remember if I had it or if it was like in a simpler form when I recorded the first version. But for the album, I wanted to re-record it, both to add violin and to just sort of make it better and make the production better, and also mostly to have the guitar intro that people really liked in it. Yeah, but it's quite a dark song. It's I always forget how like moody and intense it is, because it's so old, and I play it all the time. But yeah, I really like that song. I'm really proud of that song and the lyricism and what it means, and yeah.
Yeah, as you should be. And is that a little bit of the old Maxine still creeping back into
Yeah,
the
I guess so.
into
It's
the new
definitely like
stuff?
yeah, I mean, I think on the album it's a bit of an anomaly, because it's like everything else is maybe a lot more lighter. Well, I don't know. I feel like I consider my music more lighter than other people do, because
Sure.
I think maybe I'm more everything's more morose than I conceive it to be. But yeah, I mean, it's definitely like, well, I mean, songs are tributes to who you were when you wrote it. It's just like a tattoo or something. It's like, yeah, I have heaps of tattoos, and would I get those tattoos now? No, but they're like, that's who I was when I was 25 or like 23 or whatever. And definitely like the meaning behind that song and everything. It's very much like, how old was I when I guess I was like 20, 28, 29 when I wrote that. So it was just like, I'm 33 next month. So that's a long time ago, sort of in terms of identity or whatever. But yeah, it's definitely still, I mean, I'm definitely that. So the song is sort of about how like places and locations hold memories. So it's sort of like ghosts or whatever. And I definitely am very much that sentimental type of person. Like any place I go where any sort of vaguely sentimental or romantic event happened, I'll definitely like sort of try and remember it and see it in my head and everything. So I guess like that's what that song's about, and it's definitely still how I am. Maybe that's why it sort of has a lasting impact on people, or why I sort of felt like it was still me enough to put it on this new album. Yeah.
And an interesting analogy of songs being like tattoos.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe not, well, they are forever, but things that can be revisited and reworked and
Yeah.
re-tattooed. Just on that, have you gone to that place of a new tattoo to document another part of, or a new journey,
No,
another part of
I
your life?
was someone like, I got a tattoo when I was like 19. It was just like the name of a movie I really liked. And then I didn't get a tattoo again until I was like 23, and then when I was 23 I was like sort of addicted to it, so I probably have like, I don't know, like 13 tattoos.
Yep.
It's very much like who I was at the time. It's sort of like riot girl, like they're all sort of like see cats or like bikini kill lyrics, or I don't know, like roses and flowers and stuff. Yeah, like I don't mind them, but I would probably prefer to not have any tattoos now. But
Right.
people seem to like them, and yeah, they're part of who I was at that time, I guess.
Absolutely. Like albums and songs. That's where you were at that point in time.
Mm. I think
go through.
the main, a lot, like obviously tattoos are expensive and everything, but I mostly have tattoos on my arms and like legs, which are probably quite fleshy areas. But the last tattoo I got was like on my rib cage or like chest right up here, and that was excruciatingly painful when like
right.
every tattoo previously had sort of been barely anything, because I guess it was like a fleshy area. So maybe that, like the trauma of that pain, and it was like maybe 4 or 5 hours.
Ouch.
Yeah, so I haven't really gotten a tattoo since then.
So that was the last tattoo, and that was the last hurrah potentially.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fair enough. All right, let's touch on influences before we finish up. Obviously we sort of discussed a few early influences, but who do you kind of really resonate with now, and who kind of forms a bit of a backbone or a someone you look really into when you go to put together your music now? Where does the feel come from?
It's hard to say, because I'm definitely someone who's like so obsessed, and I've had so many different influences and eras and everything. But I don't know, like lasting influences that are sort of maybe like a through line. I definitely like Lou Reed, the Velvet Underground, and John Cale are definitely big influences, and Nico. It's like that whole sort of lineage is a big influence on me, and it's I'd say like my solo music really came into its own when I sort of so I was really into like the poetry scene in New York in the 70s, and like the music scene in the 70s, and that intersection is sort of maybe where my conception of like the solo project of Maxine Gillon sort of really like coalesced. So it's sort of Television, the band Television, and Patti Smith, and Jim Carroll, and that sort of CBGB's scene, and that intersection of the literary scene, I guess, is like a big influence. I don't know who else. I mean, I feel like this album, when it was sort of conceived, like I sort of touched on a bit that I'd sort of tried to make this whole concept album, but I sort of lost interest, or it got away from me a bit, and then I sort of really wanted to like strip things back to like where my initial love of music came from, or something. Like I was really trying to reconnect with the music that sort of baffled me, or like seemed like it came from outer space, or I couldn't understand how someone could make something as beautiful as like the Smiths' guitar work or something. And like if I saw a guitar when I was like 13 or something, like I couldn't imagine how, or like held a guitar, like I couldn't imagine how someone could sort of do all this, sort of play every individual string and make some beautiful chiming thing. So yeah, I feel like a lot of the stuff that I drew from for this album started out being all my sort of very formative influences, like the Smiths, and like Echo and the Bunnymen, and like the 4AD bands like Cocteau Twins and Modern English, and yeah, sort of that very 80s indie chiming guitar type of thing. Yeah.
Very cool. And now, what are you listening to these days? What was kind of your last listen?
I mean, right now I'm getting really back into Kate Le Bon, who is sort of like a Welsh, I guess like art pop solo artist, but she just released an album maybe a couple of months ago called Michelangelo Dying, which is really cool. And I've sort of been listening to her older albums. I also have been today I was listening to Patsy Cline and like trying to learn some of the songs. Yeah, I mean, definitely that's always been an influence, like the 50s chivalry romance, like the melancholy in like those 50s country pop songs I really like, and I love the chords, and I often try and put those chords into my songs. What else have I been listening to recently? I got like really heavily into Leonard Cohen recently. Like I've always sort of been a fan, but I got really into the sort of more like 90s stuff. Yeah, so that's sort of what I've been with. Yeah, I've just gotten like back into like lots of formative stuff, like Brian Eno's solo stuff and Bowie's sort of glitzy 80s stuff. That's the sort of stuff I've been just like. I'm really bad with like new music. I'm definitely like someone who will just go back to their faves than like try and discover new music. Or like I'm sort of, I like being on top of things and finding interesting things, but I'm definitely someone who would prefer just to listen to like their iconic faves. Yeah.
Yeah, perfect. And if there's one artist that's no longer with us that you'd love to transport yourself to now and stand front row and enjoy again, or even if you never got to see, is there one that you could put a finger on?
I don't know. I mean, the first thought came was like the first iteration of the Velvet Underground for the first two albums. Just to be like a fly on the wall for that would have been amazing. And yeah, I guess like maybe David Bowie. I never saw David Bowie. I feel like that would have been amazing to, because he's just like I can't imagine him as just being a person, and it would be cool to see him just like there. Maybe it would be weird, I don't know. Or like Prince would be great to see. I never saw Prince. Yeah,
very cool. And if it wasn't guitar for you, what would you have loved to have turned your hand to?
I don't know. I mean, in another life, I could sort of see me being like an academic who like studied literature and maybe taught literature or something. Or like completely sort of different to my interests, but part of me thinks I could have been like a really good chef or something. Like if in some if like some random twist or turn, like the sort of the ambition and the sort of obsession that I have with music and sort of the history of music and everything, if I turned that into like food and dining, maybe I could have been like a Michelin chef or something.
Yeah, there you go.
But I don't really like cooking. Yeah.
Are you a foodie yourself?
No, I'm definitely like I sort of eat junk food. I'm trying to like be better, but like I'm definitely not like a fine dining person.
Yeah, right.
Like I cook a bit, but it's not something I love doing. It takes up so much time, and then you have to wash everything, and it's a lot of effort.
Such a drag. Yep. And then all the good chefs say they don't want to eat it at the end because they're full, or they don't. You know, they've been in that moment that all of a sudden they don't want to do it anymore.
I wonder, like in that show, The Bear. Have you ever seen that?
Yeah, I love it.
Yeah, because it's like it's definitely seems like chefs, when they eat in their real life, they need to prepare things well, but it's quite basic. Like they don't want to make like this crazy, insane thing that they make. At work. I guess it's like work for them. Sometimes it feels a bit like that when I'm like going to see bands and stuff. It's like it feels like I'm at work or something. Like why would I want to go and see a band when like that's what I do?
Is that a challenge for musicians, you think? I do see a lot of musicians out at gigs, but sometimes I
mean, I feel
some
like
don't support either.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely love supporting friends, and I'm always down to like see something really interesting. I do feel like it's if you're a musician, it's really hard. Well, like this is my experience. If you're a musician who sort of like plays live all the time, it's really hard for me to be like really engaged and like really impressed by something. It needs to be like, I don't know, amazing. Otherwise, it's just sort of like, oh, cool. Like this is just what is always happening in my life. You know what I mean?
Doesn't feel like a release that you get energized from. Yep.
Yeah, and I feel like also it's sort of like maybe like a bit of a devil's bargain if you become a musician. It's like it's almost like you lose the ability to be like really like genuinely palpably emotionally affected, because well, like me at least, it's like if something really affects me, I'm like I'll be trying to figure out how it's affecting me, so then I can put that into my work. Or like there's always, if you're an artist, you're always like forced to compare yourself to something you're hearing or something. So I feel like it's maybe hard to just engage on like a base level with music for me since I sort of started making it, because it's just like my life is making music, so it's hard to just like disconnect. It's something I do sort of really want to maybe reconnect with, or sort of, I don't know if that'll change, but yeah.
And now that you've put out this full length, even though it's 8-track album, which you've cut back to eight tracks, being in the minimalist nature, being, not overdoing the album and just finding its place and nailing just exactly this where it sits now. Do you feel like you've kind of got yourself to a comfortable place that you're happy with? You're not over thinking things now. And does that come with maturity, or does that come with just a bit of a change of where your life's at the moment?
I guess so. I mean, it's always like, I feel like now that I've done an album, it feels like maybe I am a songwriter, like I am an artist. Because
absolutely you are.
Yeah, but it's, I don't know, it's always been like there's always a way for me to be like feel like I need to do something else to be like a real artist or something. Like it always feels like but I definitely feel like I definitely sort of came into my own, or like I achieved what I wanted to and achieved the sound I wanted to. And every now and then, like I'll listen to it and be like, wow, like I made this, like this is sort of what I've been wanting to do since I was like 12 or something, which is an amazing feeling. But it's also really cool that it feels like it might be like people say like you prepare for your first album for your whole life, and then the next album it's like the next few years or so afterwards. So it feels like I've like released something, and I can sort of move on and like change as an artist. Maybe like I don't know if perfected the right word, but I like made like a consistent sound throughout an album.
Yep.
And maybe now I can go on and do something slightly different and have the freedom to do that. Yeah.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong with being experimental. I mean, that's all about what life brings us. But once again, I'd like to thank you for putting the time, the effort, all the energy that goes into the magic of creating an album. Here it is, Girl Songs. Please get out and check it out. We'll list it on Bandcamp and all the details. Please get along, obviously, if you can make it this Friday to the Tramway, to Maxine Gillon and the Blue Jeans to release Girl Songs. And tell us a little bit about Mystery Shopper just before we finish.
Mystery Shopper are really great. So it is basically the solo project of Hank Clifford Smith, who is a classically trained pianist and flautist, who is sort of he plays in Leah Senior's band and played with like Gregor and plays on with Jeffrey O'Connor. But the Mystery Shopper band is sort of like a rogues gallery of like Melbourne's finest. Like Emma Rasak is on vocals, and Jeffrey O'Connor is on guitar, and Kane Borthwick who's sort of like a more experimental solo artist, but he used to be in Kong Josie's band as well, and Nozu plays the saxophone. Yeah, so it's sort of like it's an amazing sort of band to watch, and like just beautiful, really sophisticated songwriting and sort of really funny lyrics, which I really like that juxtaposition as well.
Well, we wish you all the best for Friday night and into the future. Most importantly, have a great break. Enjoy this album. When I say a great break, hopefully you get a chance to have a little bit of a break over the holiday festive period, and wish you all the best for a really big setup for the next year, for 2026.
Cool. Yeah, thanks so much. Thanks for chatting.
No worries. Great to connect. See you out there soon.
Yeah, thanks. Bye.
Great to spend an hour of time with Maxine Gillon. I look forward to getting across to one of those shows very soon. We'll touch on a gig that's coming up this Thursday. When I say this, a gig this Thursday, it's a new podcast of ours coming up. It's with Dean Whitman Lamb. Big mouthful, but The Revelation. It's a big title, it's a big name, and I really look forward to having a chat to Dean about life and music and what's going on in his world. So look forward to that one on Thursday night. Most importantly, get out there and see a gig. Can't wait to see AC/DC on Sunday. It will be cracker. Hats off and cheers to Casanovas and Amel and the Sniffers as well for doing some amazing things. And obviously when they get over to Perth to see Southern River Band supporting them as well. Great to see this great Australian acts opening for the greatest Australian band in history. So we'll see you out there soon. Enjoy the week and have fun out there. Cheers.